This product was supplied for review by MedievalBrick's. This is the Dutch Windmill Medieval MOC from MedievalBrick's. A design and build with a visually complex edifice mimicking the cut stonework that would be more common in a village windmill. But what is the quality of this product? Is it fun to build? We'll take a closer look, but before we do, of course, the obligatory reminder to like, subscribe, and share. Now, on to the review. Designed and licensed by Peters Kevin, the Dutch Windmill comes in at 2,296 pieces. In this particular case, it was a set produced by MedievalBrick's, set number 66014 under the European Century line. Starting with the box, from a pure sales perspective, this would be something that would immediately catch your eye on a store shelf, something that's honestly unlikely to happen here in the US because they don't sit on retail shelves here. Now, normally I wouldn't talk that much about the packaging, but I mean, look at this box. It has this really cool dual printing embossed effect that makes the model shimmer when the light hits it, and it peeks out with a near kind of grayscale outline of the model. This is something that may not come through in the video all that well, but I'd want to at least make a note of it. It's a shame that the box was damaged in shipping, but thankfully what really matters is what is contained within. It all starts with two sub-boxes, A and B, which contain a total of 7 bags each, and these 7 bags contain about 5 sub-bags, which are each organized and aligned in order of the build process, allowing you to easily part out exactly what you need without a bunch of digging through parts. There is only one exception, which was minor, so it's not even really worth mentioning. The printed building instructions are actually a huge upside. I personally do not like digital instructions, which with many MOCs tends to be a necessity for cost reasons, but being able to keep a build very analog for me is actually part of the experience. Now, a downside of this would be stickers. There's a lot of them, but this is expected with MOCs in most cases. The build process itself was a bit of a roller coaster with some really great highs and some pretty frustrating lows. The low point, fittingly, is actually in the base of the model, which is primarily made up of black, dark green, and dark brown bricks. The print quality on the instructions was such that it became exceedingly difficult to differentiate between the dark green and the dark brown pieces. And while this problem did persist throughout the build process, it was really only an issue in building the base of the model because the piece similarity didn't really occur anywhere else. Even trying to use my phone's flashlight to get a little bit of extra light didn't help a great deal. Maybe I'm just colorblind, but honestly, I do think it was just the print quality of the instructions themselves. Anyway, while building the foundation was a bit of a slog, the rest of the build went much faster and was much more enjoyable. There was generally enough variety in parts and build techniques to keep things interesting throughout the entire build. All of the quality control for the pieces themselves were fantastic, good solid clicks and hold, and very little induced curves on the flat pieces. This made the build feel nice and solid with only a few brief moments of a wall or two being unstable until you got a little bit further into the build process. Speaking of walls, as with many MOC designs, this one sets itself apart from a more plain building set with its kit bash approach to the stone wall, opting for the use of numerous smaller elements placed in a logical, albeit haphazard looking layout to really accentuate the whole stonework feel. This is where a great deal of the piece count comes in for this kit. A more plain building kit would come in at probably less than a third of the number of pieces. I do recommend you pace this build. Thankfully, this is made possible by good bag organization. Now, the number of small pieces can affect a slower and sometimes more tedious build process if you try to marathon build like I tend to do. And over time, this will make your fingers hurt. But it feels worth it in the end when you sit back and look at the completed build. The details of the stonework with its kit bash approach, the flora of the grasslands with some clever build techniques, an autumn tree, which is probably my personal favorite detail, wispy smoke coming out of the chimney using this little white snake staff piece, the circular build of the windmill and its roof using a large variety of ingenious building techniques. It all comes together in a beautiful, cozy, Dutch-style windmill. Now, what makes a windmill a Dutch windmill? I don't really even know of a formal answer. I would think it's probably two things. First, it's a short, squat design compared with some other windmills, which I think is probably a more common trait given the windy nature of those plain lands in the Netherlands. It's just not that hard to catch a wind. Two, the windmills were sometimes used to pump water since farmlands were easily flooded. This is actually represented in this model built by the house portion being raised up on the stilts. Regardless of the definition, this is certainly a model worth displaying, which seems to be the entire point. While elements such as the roof of the house are removable, there really isn't any reason to do so since there's nothing inside. The door doesn't open, and the only moving part is the windmill itself. So, no play features, no minifigures, built to a quasi-minifigure scale. This is probably best suited for being a standalone piece, or to be added to a medieval village as some sort of set dressing. As of the making of this video, this kit is on sale for $69.99. It's normally priced at $169.49. Given the quality of the build and of the end result, I think the regular price would generally be fair. It's perhaps a little bit high with the bulk of the piece count being smaller pieces, but at near $70, this is actually a great price. And I do think it is worth noting on these prices that this is giving proper credit and payment to the original designers. And this is something very important to note because Medieval Brick does this where other resellers may not. And I think that's a very important thing. So, if you're in the market for a Dutch-style windmill to add to your medieval village, or you just want to build a really nice-looking model, you can find the link to Medieval Brick and to this specific model in the description of this video. Medieval Brick has also kindly included a code for an extra 15% off of your order. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Dutch windmill from Medieval Brick. See you all in the next review.